Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainur Maisara binti Ruslan. My metric number is 9190713. So today I'm going to present the grammar presentation. My part is special part areas, and there's gonna be 6 contents in my presentation. So let's start with height and tall. As we know, we usually confuse and use it in wrong height and tall. But I'm sorry. The common mistake that we always do is my father is very height man. For the examples, it is actually a wrong sentence. But what we should say is my father is very tall man. So we use tall is for the his height. The height is not for something that countable, it's for something that uncountable. Like height, we know that we can count on it. Okay, second, it is lend and borrow. Lend is it something that we give to somebody for a short time, but for borrow, what we take from someone for a short time. For example, when I'm using the lend word, I should say, oh, I lend my necklace, bought my own to my mother. I lend it to somebody. But with each, I want to use the borrow. I have to say that, oh, this pen, this pen, I borrow it from my friend. That's the examples. Third is much and many. Actually, when we want to use much, it is for something that uncountable. For actually, sugar, salt, coffee, and so on. For the example, he put too much coffee in the cups. So coffee is something that uncountable, so we use the word of much. And if we want to use many, I give the example. It is cup. Cup is something that countable, so the sentence must be he put so many cups on the table. So cup is something that countable, so it have to use many, not much cup. And then the number 4, like. Actually, we have informer and former, but we usually use informer, I guess. For former, like, the meaning is enjoy or having the same characteristic. For the examples, when we used to like in the meaning of enjoy, it can be like the examples. I like these chocolate cakes. I enjoy this chocolate cake. Second, I like the idea very much. So it shows that you enjoy the idea. But if we want to use like for having the same characteristic, it must be she has a blue scooter like yours. Like mean like have the same characteristic. So at the sentence just now, it used blue. So maybe her scooter also has a same characteristic, which is in blue also. However, I guess like many of us love to use like in informal sentence. For the example, we use like for the meaning of such. For the example, he wearing a black hoodie like a bad boy. So it can be a meaning like he wearing a black hoodie, such a bad boy. This is in informal. And second example of informal way, she comes into the room and she's like, where is everybody? And she's very confused. She's like, what? Where is everybody? Okay, so number 5, it is hard and hardly. Actually, hardly, it is, the meaning is almost not. So for the example, he hardly worked, so he almost not work at all because he is lazy. Okay, for hard, it is something that phrase or sentence that we use for something that need energy and strength and also force. Okay, for the example of the sentence is, you starting a new career, it can be fun and hard. Okay, let's move to the last from me. It is need. Need can come, when we use need, it can come in the verb sentence or in the noun sentence. But I will talk both of that. We usually or commonly use all people need not work. It is actually need not work is wrong, because actually we have to use after need is to. For the example, I need just now example, all people need not to work. Not all people need not work. It is wrong. And for the other examples, it can be, I need to. I need to go to the post office. And for the second, Sally needs to. We use to after the verb. Sally need to buy new pair of jeans. Now, so that need also we can use in the nouns sentence for the examples, but without to. I'm so sorry. Also can use in noun, but without to. You need a holiday, or every country need a good government. So that's without to. Okay, I think that's just 6 for me and my part. Thank you.
No and not. When we use no before nouns. For example, there are no cubicles in this open place office. In this sentence, we see they put no before nouns, and the nouns in this sentence are cubicles. The next one is, I have no idea where John is. And we must remember, we never use a or the after no. The next one, we use not in negative verbs. For example, my family is not wasteful. So, the negative verbs in the sentence, we use is. And at the bottom of the slide, I put 3 tips on how to build a sentence according to the not and no. The first one, verb be plus not plus adjective. The second one, be plus not plus noun. And the last one, there is or are plus no plus noun. What is the differences between none of and neither of? Okay, none means not one. After none, we usually use of plus plural noun. Okay, we see the examples. First example, none of the animals is in danger. So we can see, after none, they put of plus plural noun, which is the animals. And the second one, none of Ahmad's friends could advise him. Not only and but. We use these words when we want to join two sentences. I will give you guys an example. Ali not only has a guitar, but he plays it beautifully. In this sentence, actually it has two sentences. The first sentence, Ali not only has a guitar, and second sentence, he plays it beautifully. So in this sentence, it used not only and but to join two sentences together. Say and tell. Say and tell has the same meaning, but we use them in different ways. Say, with the word say, we can use in direct speech. For instance, Daniel said, "My bus was late." And we also can use word say in that plus sentence. For example, Daniel said that his bus was late. And the last one, a sentence without that. Example, Daniel said his bus was late. So we can see the difference between the second one and the last one. After tell, we can use that plus sentence or about, noun plus or about plus noun. For example, that plus sentence, Daniel told us that his bus was late. So we can see after that it put sentence, and the sentence is his bus was late. And about plus noun, Johan told Kim about the film. After about, they put noun, and the noun is the film. Some and any. Number 1. Use some in ordinary sentences. We can find word some in ordinary sentences. For instance, I can see some cars, or I can see some boats. And also, we use word any in negative sentences or questions. For example, we can use any in sentence, I cannot see any cars. And questions, can you see any cars? The number 1, in questions, we use some if we are hoping for the answer yes. For instance, would you like some tea? So in this sentence, the person hoping for the answer yes. So he used word some in her sentences. In her sentence. The next one, stay and live. Stay means live in a place just for a short time or for a short period. Okay, we see the example. My uncle is coming to stay with us for a few days, meaning that his uncle do not stay with him for a permanently. Then another example, if you go to Malacca, you should stay at the Pelangi homestay. But stay can also mean not move or not go out. Example, I like to stay at home and watch television, meaning that he liked to stay at home and do not go anywhere and just watch the television. Number 2, we use live to talk about a person's normal home. Example, I live in a very small village in Malacca, meaning that his house in Malacca, and he's obviously live in Malacca. And the next one, Camelia live with her family in Klebang.
Okay, we move to used to and be used to. Okay, I used to and I am used to have different meanings. Okay, we use when it plus basic verb, means in the past I often did this. It was my habit. Okay, I am used when it plus ing, means I often do this, so it is not a problem to me. Okay, it refers to the present, not the past. Okay, so used to without be is a past tense verb. We cannot use it to talk about present. Okay, to talk about a present habit, we must use often plus a simple present tense verb. Okay, after used to, we always use the basic verb form. Do not use ing forms. Okay, so for example, don't worry, I am used to doing this kind of work. Okay, got it? Now we move to the common redundancies in English. Very often, we come across sentences with redundant expression that make writing longer, but not necessarily better. We can remove needless repetition in some of these phrases to make our writing more concise. Okay, so for the common mistakes, no one raised up his or her hand when the teacher called for a volunteer. Okay, so for the corrected mistakes, no one raised his or her hand when the teacher called for a volunteer. Okay, so in the table, here is a list of common phrases that most people use without realizing that they are unnecessary words attached to them. For a start, we can remove the needless repetition by change the word or phrase in bracket. So, we move to then and then. For the common mistake, your work is better than Wiki's. And the corrected mistake is your work is better than Wiki's. Okay. Then is used to compare things. If we look at the corrected mistake, it is a comparison, which is your work is better than Wiki's. Okay. So, the next point, then, shows that one thing follows another in time. For example, mother will go to the fishmonger first, then go to the butcher. Now, if we look at the example, we know that it shows the time, which is mother will go to the fishmonger first, then go to the butcher. Next, we move to that as a joining word. Okay. Look at the common mistakes. I think that is hot coming here soon. Okay, so for the corrected mistakes, I think that is hot is coming here soon. Okay, so we use that as a joining word after verbs such as say, believe, tell somebody, think. We also use it in expressions such as it is true that and I am afraid that. For example, I'm sure that you will be happy. Okay, a little bit information. In informal English, we leave out that. Okay, so for example, Gopal told me that there was no problem. So it is a formal. And then Gopal told me there was no problem. So it is informal. If we look at the both of example, that informal example, Gopal told me there was no problem. We leave the word that. Okay. The next point, we can also use that instead of who and which is this is the house that my father built. Okay, next we move to and very. For the common mistakes, Ahmeng bought a too old car. So for the corrected mistakes, Ahmeng bought a very old car. Okay, too does not mean very very. We use to, the word to, only when there is a problem. Okay, for example, this driver is going too fast. Okay, when there is no problem, we use very. Okay, for example, the driver is going very fast. Okay, after to, we often use to plus verb. Okay, which is the example. Amber is too small to ride my bicycle. Or 4 plus noun. The example is, these trousers are too long for Sundram. Got it? Okay. After a, we cannot use to. Instead, we have to use very. Okay. We cannot say that was a too interesting lesson. But we must change that was a very interesting lesson. Okay. The last example. I saw a too old documentary. It is wrong. We must use I saw a very old documentary.
Alright, that's all from us. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video.